Welcome back to Norfolk Notables. I'm Anne-Marie Battistone. My guest needs no introduction since he's been here twice before, and that would be Ernie Alix. He's going to show us some photos, well, not photos, I guess, pictures of old Norfolk. But before we do that, I once said to Ernie, because he's done so many things, and some of it sounds unbelievable. But I once said to him, I said, Ernie, I believe everything you've told me. So the other day, I guess he didn't really believe that. So he showed me his nuclear air weapons training unit certificate in training, and that's this right here. And then he's also here certificate of clearance from the commanding officer of the USS Salisbury Sound in San Francisco, 26th of this. Oh, no, that's your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
No, this was dated March of '61, and this was for
Secret clearance.
Secret clearance.
You couldn't go to nuclear school unless you had secret clearance.
But what were you actually technically doing?
On the
You were underwater.
on the ship, I was with an underwater EOD unit, but on the ship, the seaplanes that we had, part of what we did was regular ASW warfare, and sometimes we'd chase Russian submarines up and down the coast, but we also had nuclear depth charges on board, and I had to go through the schooling on how to handle them.
And put them in the ground? Put them
No,
in the...
hang them off the wing of a seaplane.
Oh!
That was doing this. And we're in wooden rearming boats that are doing this, and sometimes the planes will be all going from wing pod to wing pod.
So everything was in the water. You were in the boat, and the plane was in the water.
Yeah, well, I was on top of the wing with my so-called wingman. We both had these...
not a real wingman.
Yeah.
Or actually was a real wingman,
Yeah.
not a...
with these hoists, and we had to hoist up the nuclear bombs into the racks. Then a lot of times stuff would come back, like the rockets and stuff, they'd be hung up. They went to fire them, and one portion would let go, the other wouldn't, and it'd be just hanging there. Always come back in the worst weather, so you're bouncing all over the place. And you had a little clip you had to put over the tail end of the firing mechanism, which was electronic pigtail. And if you touched that pigtail and you would ran your hands through your hair, you would set it off. And
From friction?
Yeah, well, I only needed a half an amp, a quarter ohm, which was static electricity would set these things off, and they would just burn you to death.
Now, it wasn't something that was on your hand. Was it something, there were some residue on your hands that then would light up your hair?
No, static electricity. You know, you rub your feet on the rug. If you rub your feet and you touch this clip before you put the grounding clip on it, these things could go off.
So where were you wearing at the time?
Just T-shirt and dungarees.
I mean, did you have something over your head so that you wouldn't?
No, it wouldn't matter. People used to ask me, how good a carpenter are you? And I would do this. See, I could still count to 10 without taking my shoes off. Well, if we screwed up there wouldn't be enough to find or bury. But they're extremely safe. There's so many safeguards built into the nuclear weapon system.
And
it's
even
just
then?
It's unbelievable, all the safeguards.
And yet you're saying the friction of running your hands through your hair.
That's on the rockets, not on the bombs.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Well, you learn something every day, I guess. You know, do you ever hear people talk about wingmen anymore?
No, well, if you're driving somewhere, sometime you'll have a wingman with you. You know, it depends, especially if you're bar hopping.
That's what I mean. This is another guy to help you or to fend off the girl's friends so that you have... Oh, gosh.
Make up excuses for you.
Okay, so...
Okay, the first one's people really familiar with the man name. And this was the man home right in the center of Norfolk, where the Holmes property is now. Over here is Daly's gas station. This area here, which was the store area, eventually became the First Catholic Church in Norfolk. Now, somewhere in here was a post office. I believe it was up here, but I don't know.
Now, who were the Manns? I've never, no, I mean,
They all over on Lawrence Street, where they just put in the new bridge and
they
Causeway.
were landowners.
And Causeway.
Uh-huh.
To the right of that was the Mann Mill. They made woolens and stuff like that. So supposedly a highly polluted area,
Right.
and they're having a lot of problems. But I'm not up on that. But it was Buckley and Mann.
Oh, yes, okay, right. But is there a Mann house now that's still standing? No.
Not that I know
Okay.
of. No.
Right.
And this came from a postcard. This is our original
Oh,
town hall that sits basically where the library sits right now. There was school in behind it, and the Federated Church over in the back here.
is this where the Federated Church is now?
Yeah, that is the Federated Church. The
My
the steeple isn't completed in this photo.
Now, where is Main Street now in regards to this?
Right here.
Oh. So Town Hill now is back here.
Town Hill is the same place, basically back in through
Okay.
here. It's a little bit higher now.
Yeah,
And of course, this school is gone.
right.
And the story is with the town hall is in the winter, there was a very cold weekend. So the custodian...
It's a nice building.
Yeah, custodian came in and really kicked the old fire up to try to get it nice and warm. Well, he got it so warm it burned down. But that was a beautiful building.
You know, I'm surprised that the town had that kind of money back then to build a building like that, to be
Yeah,
honest
that
with you.
was basically back when the town just became a town.
And this is this like some kind of a, looks like the kind of fence you see around a riding ring.
Yeah, well, it was the old typical, easy to put up. They might have, at this portion of Main Street, they might have tied the buggies to it even.
Uh-huh.
But, as I say, that came from a postcard. That's actually a beautiful picture.
It
You
is.
see everything. Now, this is the school that shows on there alongside of the Federated Church.
Oh.
Now, on some of the stuff it said Federated Church, some says Congregational Church. I don't know when stuff changed one to the other. But this was this stood until some people I know went to school there. So they must have tore it down, or it might have burned down. I don't know. This would be in the 40s, early 50s. Well, it'll be in the early 50s because some of the people I know that are my age went to school there. Another, architecturally wise, a real nice looking building.
With the bell tower and all.
Yeah. And I don't know what
I wonder
happened.
how many rooms were it? It doesn't seem to be very deep.
No, it almost looks like outhouse back here.
Yep. And it looks like there's just one window. Now, this was a rendering. This was not a photo. Or
No, this is the actual photo.
It was.
Yeah,
Okay, so
it's
there's
from-
looks like there's only the one window.
Well, this
here.
this would have been your stairwell.
Oh, okay. I see. All right.
Of course, back then they didn't care fire safety. They only had one stairwell.
Right.
Again, this would be the Congregational Church. This is Main Street. And this one here, this building behind here, that's probably an area where they could put the horses when they came in to go to church.
I'm a little turned around. This is the front of the church, so this would be
Here's Town Hill.
right.
And basically, to get you orientated,
Because Main Street comes along the side of the.
yeah, this one will get you orientated. This is on Town Hill,
Okay.
and this is the building. Again, the steeple is short.
Is this the front?
Yes.
Well, doesn't the front face? I don't know if they still call it the extension of Rockwood Road on the other side of the circle. The faces actually faces Town Hill.
Yeah, actually, back then, I believe that was named after the preacher, but I'm not sure. A lot of this stuff that I just got into kind of
And
recently.
what's this? What you think that's some sort of a stable back there, or?
Yeah, it looks
So
like
long-
it the way it's built.
So where these trees are now is back where that big parking lot is.
Well, no,
beyond
right
it-
now that's a sidewalk. This is Main Street. Dunkin' Donuts
Yeah.
is right here. The gas station is right here.
Uh-huh.
And there's been additions onto the front, a little bit more added to this. Now, a lot of these photos are on display in the town clerk's office
they are?
if people want to look at them. Yeah.
Oh.
Now, this is over at the corner of Miller Street and Myrtle. This would be Myrtle back here.
Yeah.
Holmes's buses are back down here.
Okay.
And this would be Miller Street. And it says on it was the first meeting place of the Masons in Massachusetts.
Really?
Now,
And all that was knocked down and...
no, that building is still basically as it was. I went over there and I donated one of these pictures to the people that live there.
This is a private house?
Yes.
That big?
Yeah. Well, back then it looks like a big private house, but a lot of times they would have like an area like this going to the barn.
Uh-huh.
The barns would be connected to the house, so
Right.
you didn't have to shovel the snow in the winter to
Right.
get to the cows
Animals.
or the livestock.
And this must be like a little pond in here or some
Yeah,
sort
that
of
pond's still
water.
there. It's full of ducks.
Huh. And so this is right as you turn on to
To Miller Street
Miller Street.
from Myrtle.
Yeah.
Again, this comes down by Holmes's buses.
I have a terrible
and that
direction.
comes back up into it.
And Myrtle goes out to Maine. Myrtle, Maine.
Myrtle goes
yeah,
to
okay, all
goes
right.
to Main Street, right?
Oh, okay, all right. So this is. Oh, I get it now. Okay.
Yeah, you'd be passing by up here to go to Miller's.
So you would have taken, say, a right on Myrtle and a right onto this street.
It'd be a left when you got to it.
Okay.
This would take you to Miller's.
Uh-huh.
Now, this one here, this building is still standing. So is this. The divider in between the breezeway is not there. This is right across the street from our fire station. Dunkin' Donuts is right here. This is Main Street.
Yeah.
This area was like this in the 70s, early 80s, but of course this is an unpaved road. You can't really see the flags too well, so you can't tell by them, what it
Is this
was.
like during the Civil War?
Oh, they're Civil War troops. You can tell by what they got on.
Yeah.
And I had a person look at it, and he's very knowledgeable on instruments. And he put a glass on the instruments, and he says those are very early instruments.
Musical instruments.
So it wasn't long after the Civil War, or they were using older instruments at the time as reenactment stuff. But it's the way they're dressed. This is your band, but you can see back here, almost dressed like cavalry, with the what looks like everything is yellow here anyway, but it almost looks like they have a yellow
Yes.
neckerchief on.
Yeah. Now, so where these buildings are, what is there now?
Those buildings, they're still there. This is the little side road that goes down into the back, alongside of Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, all right. Now, and the MBTA lot?
Yeah,
Where's that? In relation to
right here.
Okay. Huh. These are not the buildings where they have where they have the little strip mall, and then there's a hill, and now down below there used to be an antique store down there.
No, that's right in back of the center of town. This is the next road going out of town. As I say, it's right across the street from the fire department. The town did a lot of stuff out of this building. The dispatch for fire department was in there at one time. They used to sell ammunition out of there. You were able to go in and buy your marriage licenses. And there was quite a bit from the town that happened out of there.
Now, okay.
And if you look real close here, there's a woman here with two little kids. And she's got the big working apron on. I put a glass on it, you see. Mm-hmm. And they're minorities.
Huh. And this looks like a covered carriage here.
Basically, we call it doctor's surrey.
Uh-huh. Huh. Interesting. Gee.
Now, this is up at Town Hill, and this is the old gazebo that got torn down.
Looking from the library, where the library is
Right.
now. Okay, I got that.
Yeah, because now you can see the church,
Yes.
and if you look over here, you can still see the school. Now, I believe
This I understand.
this is in storage. I think it's down at Town Barn, or it might be over at Holmes's.
Well, you think they moved it away when they built
Yeah,
the new one?
it was dilapidated, yeah. And myself and a few other people in town that were craftsmen years back, we were going to restore it, but no, they wanted a new one, so.
The roof on the present gazebo doesn't look too good.
I haven't really looked at it.
That day of the concert,
Yeah, they had
the shingles look like.
a lot of problems when they built that. They had a company come in from New Hampshire, I believe, and they basically were going out of business as they were doing it, and I don't know what happened, but I know the town bailed them out, and again, it cost us a lot more money than it should have, you know.
That seems to be a recurring theme.
Yes, you can see a little better here. Now, this is a much newer picture, because you can see a telephone pole.
Right.
And they now have power, but they still don't have the top of the steeple.
Huh. And that's the school you showed earlier.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I see. These two windows. In other words, the back wasn't visible because
Right.
of the angle of the
Right.
picture. Oh, all right.
And again, this is your stairwell
Yes.
going up. Now, this tower, an interesting story a few years back. This, when the tower is completed, no bell in it, but they had a recording that would come on and play the sound of the bells. So the guys over at
With a loudspeaker.
yeah. So the guy's sitting around over at the gas station one time, and
Did they change the record?
they snuck up there and put some hard rock on it. So when the time came for the bell to ring, early one Sunday morning, it was playing hard rock.
That's good.
And somebody in here, it was her uncle that was part of it.
Oh, present company.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now this is over at Pondville, where Pondville had where the train used to come through, and this was you can see it right here. It says Pondville. This was the station, a very busy station. I believe there was something like 21 trains a day went by this station.
And what street? Where was that?
Up Hill Street would come up over in here, and this would be
On the other side of 1A, south of 1A, obviously.
yeah, going up if you went up the hill,
Yes.
you took a left.
Okay.
Remember where the big abutments used to be on
Yes,
the side?
I do. That I do remember.
All right, so those abutments are right here.
Okay.
So this was very busy because naturally Pondville Hospital back then, that was the foremost cancer hospital in this whole area.
Huh. Well, now, where were the tracks? Which tracks?
Right here, right in front of
No,
them.
I know,
Oh,
but
these tracks that went in front here.
Where'd they
went-
connect up with?
They went right across those abutments that you saw.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
They went down into North Attleboro, through Plainville, down into North Attleboro, and they went down onto Broadway Extension, they called it, and there was another similar building like this. And the ironic part of that, those tracks stopped there. Down the line, that set of tracks was going to be moved, would go all the way down through Millville, down into Uxbridge, down in through there. And there's a lot of areas, if you get down through there, and you know where to look, that they dug out the side of the hills and everything down there, and they had it all prepped. The person that was going to extend the railroad line went over to Europe to get money to do it. And he did.
It was a private line, this was.
Yes, he got all the money to do it. So he sailed back here with all the gold in the safe of the ship. Unfortunately, it was the Titanic.
Is that right?
So that that rail line never got extended past North Attleboro, and then
Well, who used it? It wasn't passenger trains, was it?
it was passenger. It was mostly freight, though. A lot of freight. It used to go down to LaRusso's as Wampum Corner.
Yes.
LaRusso had a big pit in there.
Yes.
And the trains used to haul out of there all the time with gravel, bringing it into Boston.
Now, LaRusso's the one that stood to get some of the gravel from this project over at, is it Abbeville or over there
Yeah,
at
whatever.
Lawrence Street?
Yeah. No, basically, he's a businessman. He buys up whatever's available. You know, you can't.
You know, I think, do you have many more? Because I think we're down to our 5 minutes. And
Oh,
you
we
want
are?
to speak, yeah.
Oh God. Yak yak yak. This was the first police cruiser that Norfolk ever had.
Oh,
And now we go to Jolly Charlie's. Now
that's the lead in.
That's not an old one. That's one to lead into what we're going to do. This is
I think this is your camera here.
into modern
There
stuff.
it goes.
We're with the class of 1959. We're having our 60th reunion.
Your camera's here with the red light.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have to read this stuff.
No.
I have a photographic memory, but a lot of the film is now missing. So if you'd like to celebrate with us, we're going to be at the Alumni Club in Franklin on October 12th. We're going to start around 4 o'clock. You can get there earlier. Bar's always open early. You can contact Grace Simmons at 508-699-7168. And I'm going to try to be the DJ with my old collection of vintage 8-tracks and cassettes. That alone is going to be worth the price of the show.
Now, is this for class of 59 or
Yeah,
what? Okay.
class of 59. It's going to be our 60th reunion.
It's going to like 4 to 8 or until.
Yeah, 4 to 8, and there's a couple of the photos, and this is of the King Philip being, the first King Philip High School being built. Oh. That was a cornfield there at one time, and that's the first one. That's just some of the garbage I got in there. Oh, this is a picture of the pond over in. Got to check my notes again.
Are those sheep?
Yeah, they're sheep grazing where it is now a pond. We still got time. That's Callahan's Pond over on Holbrook Street. You can still see this rock, and you can see an island.
Oh.
And this is before the people that lived in, if people know where old Ernie Sanborn, I forget the guy's name now, Ernie Sleeper, where he lived.
Do you mean Holbrook heading where you head up to Millis, and then they have River's Edge and some of those other
That's
houses
across
over
the
there?
street from the end of it. You went down
Okay.
that street, Callahan's lived
Yeah.
down there, they called it Callahan's Pond. So anyway, that was before they added water. They diverted a stream that went down through that area, and they used it for the livestock, but before that, the livestock used it for. And what I had pushed aside earlier was a poll tax for that same people living in that house, and it was from August 15th.
Poll tax?
Yeah, 1883. We used to have poll taxes.
Tax to vote?
Yep.
I thought that wasn't.
It wasn't legal, but we were still paying it in the 50s.
In Norfolk.
In the 50s, every town. But this was paid in Franklin. We had to go to Franklin to pay
How
it.
did that fly? I mean, nobody complained?
I guess not.
Wait, you mean? Gee,
It's like
I
we were
thought
paying.
that- I thought.
It's like you were paying $1 extra on your telephone all the time. That was for the war effort.
Well, that's one thing, but to pay the tax to vote.
Yeah. Funny thing is, I took it into town hall, brought it to the tax area, I handed it to the girl. I says, "Can I pay this here?" Yeah. She took it over and started putting it in the computer.
Oh my God!
And there's a copy of this at the tax office
So
if
did
anyone wants to
somebody
see it.
finally take issue with it?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
unconstitutional.
God, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're about out of time here, but thank you for watching Norfolk Notable. It's been very interesting today. My guest was Ernie Alix. I'm Anne-Marie Battistone, and I'll be having some more notables coming up in the next month or so. So thank you for watching. This is Norfolk Public Access. Bye-bye.